'Cause it's VGSquirrel.
The Versus series. It's a series that I personally adore. Whether it be Capcom vs SNK, Tatsunoko vs Capcom, General Motors vs Capcom, Namco Cross Capcom, or Marvel vs Capcom, they are a ton of fun and are basically the video game version of taking some action figures that are lying around and pitting them against each other. While I'm a fan of the series, I'm not that great at the games. I'm okay, but I don't compete in tournaments or anything like that. I do own most of the games though, and I also own the original arcade board for Marvel vs. Capcom 1, if that counts for anything. Marvel vs. Capcom has a funny history. The first couple in the series came out reasonably close to each other. Then I guess the contract ended, and we didn't have MVC for over 10 years. Then it came back, then it was gone. But in late 2016, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was announced, and everybody was stoked. Then we started to see the graphics, and the roster, and then the game came out, and it played great. But a lot of the spirit of the older games was gone. The wackiness, the classic themes, and most importantly, the originality. We have 5 new characters, and most of the veterans were from the last game. Sure, Thanos has been changed, so that's technically 6, but come on! Let's get some newcomers in this game. Well, it turns out Capcom's plan was to make most of the newcomers DLC. While I would prefer they be in the game from the start, it still makes me hopeful for this game's roster in the future. And considering this is the smallest roster since Marvel vs. Capcom 1, we need to beef it up and improve this game. Especially considering Dragon Ball FighterZ just came out, and it is doing really well. And holy god, MVC isn't even at EVO this year. This game needs help. So today, we're gonna dream. Right now we're gonna focus on the Marvel side, but don't worry, the next video will be all about Capcom. Before we start, I just want to say that this is going to be all newcomers. While there's several characters on the Marvel side I would like to see return, I always get more excited for new characters. And when it comes to these games, I tend to know more about the Capcom side than the Marvel side. So a lot of these characters may seem a bit obvious. I don't really read comics that much, but I appreciate them for sure. However, I did do a little bit of research, so not all of them are going to be dead giveaways. But my apologies if I don't get all the facts 100% correct. Anyway, let's get to the video. These are my top 10 Marvel characters that I want added to MVCI. So honestly, I feel like it's my duty to include number 10. Not only because of my moniker, but because this lady has been making a name for herself as of late. Doreen Green, aka Squirrel Girl, seems like a perfect off-the-wall character to represent the Marvel side. This is due to the fact that her power is being able to communicate with squirrels, as well as using them to aid in combat. While one could say that the use of squirrels is not a good enough power, Squirrel Girl would highly disagree, as she's kind of taken down big villains in the Marvel universe, including Thanos. You know, the guy that the MCU has been building up for like 20 movies? Yeah, she's taken down that guy. But seriously, just give her some attacks where she sends squirrels out in a variety of ways. Kind of like Strider with his robotic animals. She should also be able to climb the side of the screen, also kind of like Strider. Finally, have her be a quick character with not a lot of health. Kind of like, I think I'm noticing a trend here. Also, of course, for her hyper combos, have armies of squirrels come in and wreck shop from a variety of different angles. Honestly though, I think squirrels are more powerful than people realize. I mean, if they turn on you, you may have to move to an alternate reality.
We have to pack up and move to a new reality, Morty. You know, I said we can only do that a couple of times. We're f***ed over here because of these damn squirrels.
Also, on top of all of this, in the upcoming show, she's being portrayed by Milana Vaintrub, who I kinda have a thing for. Squirrel Girl gets the number 10 spot. Hey kids, what do you get when you take Batman, add the influence of an Egyptian god, and make him have 4 different personas? Moon Knight! Who, sometimes referred to by fans as Marvel's version of Batman, Moon Knight has become kind of a cult classic character. I think he would be an excellent choice for the MVC games. In the past, he's made it into other Marvel games, so why not Marvel vs. Capcom? I think it's time to highlight this character that would be an interesting fighter, to say the least. Moon Knight would of course use his vast knowledge of martial arts to take down enemies, but he would also have the use of all of his devices, such as his crescent darts and his truncheon. Also add in his large assortment of firearms, bows, shurikens, and explosives to basically fill up his moveset. For some of his hyper combos, he could summon the Mooncopter in order to take enemies down from above. Also, don't forget the fact that Moon Knight is apparently resistant to a lot of pain, so he should be able to take a lot of damage before being knocked out. Also, did I mention that he looks badass? Yeah, how could you not want him in this game? So come on, Marvel! Let's not let this awesome character get eclipsed by all of your other ones. Hey, so remember in the last entry when I was talking about Batman? Well, this time, let's bring up the Flash. While I haven't played any of the Injustice games, I have played everyone's favorite fighting game, Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. Yeah, that one. And while people can say what they want to say about that game, what I will say is that the Flash had an awesome fighting style, and I want a character like that to be an MVC. So of course, the best option would be Quicksilver. While he is an X-Men character, who, let's be honest, have basically been forgotten this time around, he sort of sticks out by not just being in the X-Men movies, but also being a part of the MCU. Of course, his moveset would be what you expect. A quick, close combat character that is relatively weak. He could of course have a teleport sort of move, where he simply runs around the entire world. He also could stun characters by spinning them around for a second. And finally, let's even give him a projectile counter move, where he grabs the projectile like in X-Men Days of Future Past, turns it around, and launches it back at other characters. I think a character like this would be perfect for MVC. We have our super strong characters, so why not our super fast ones? Also, while I was working on this video, the whole 21st Century Fox thing happened. So Marvel, it's time. Let's get Quicksilver in this game. So in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, we had characters that represented all types of professions. We had photographers, we had a mayor, a knight, and even lawyers?
I'd better call Saul!
Both representations of that profession have yet to appear in MVCI, so for the moment, why not have Matt Murdock come in to defend the position? Marvel is certainly wanting to represent the MCU, so why not have some representation from their line of Netflix shows? It honestly baffles me that Daredevil hasn't made an appearance in an MVC game yet, considering how expansive their rosters are. With Daredevil's training, he would make a perfect fit as a brawler character. Of course he has his billy clubs and his grappling hook, but why not give him some sort of counter move to represent his enhanced senses? This could be similar to Shulk or Bayonetta in Smash Bros. While he might not have the most fantastical powers out of any character in the series, he seems like the type of character that should have been added a long time ago. Now could be the time for Daredevil to finally shine. One of my favorite movies to come out of the MCU has to be Guardians of the Galaxy. It's the only Marvel movie I own on DVD, and I also own the soundtrack on vinyl. When I first saw this movie, it was such a surprise that I instantly fell in love with all of these characters. My original pick for another Guardians representative besides Rocket was going to be Groot, but in this game he's kind of part of Rocket's moveset, so why not have the poster boy himself, StarLord?
Who?
Honestly, I thought he would be a shoo-in for this game, but instead we got who I consider to be the least interesting Guardians of the Galaxy character, Gamora. I don't know, I thought she was one of the weakest parts of the first Guardians movie, but her character has improved with the second movie. Anyway, I think StarLord would be an interesting character, because he could use all sorts of different elements from his elemental blaster. Then with his jetpack, he could fly around like Iron Man. So basically take Mega Man, throw a jetpack on him, and you have StarLord. Pretty great, if you ask me. With the MCU being a major focus of this game, this is another obvious choice. AntMan needs to join in on the action now. Out of all of the MCU characters, I feel as though AntMan would be the most unique. with the ability to change his size on the fly, or Ant. He could have all sorts of crazy maneuvers to get past projectiles and surprise enemies. While it would only be fair not to allow him to permanently change size, it would be great to incorporate his size-changing ability as moves. I could definitely see some sort of low dashing attack as he gets smaller, and he could potentially become Giant Man for some of his specials. Imagine a giant fist coming across the screen, or maybe even a leg stomping down like in Hawkeye's special in UMVC3. What can make him more interesting are his discs from the movie. He could use these to grow objects like a tank, or even one of his own ants to attack a player. Speaking of ants, add in the fact that you could use his swarm of ants to take down players, and you have potentially one of the most unique characters for this game. So my main issue with MVCI's roster is that they play it too safe. They pick obvious characters. Now, while I've listed off some pretty obvious characters, I thought we should mix it up by having a not-so-obvious, yet obvious character. Marvel acknowledges the fact that this character exists, so much so that he's appeared in some of the MCU movies. I think you know where I'm going here. Yes, I firmly believe that we should go ahead and embrace Howard the Duck. While he would certainly be a jokey character, he doesn't necessarily need to be a weak one. Let's start with the fact that he is a master of quack fu. Yes, that's what it's really called. But on top of that, he has access to a rocket launcher, as well as all of his abilities from when he was the Iron Duck. Considering all of this, you have a very fun character and an unassuming body with deadly results. Add in the fact that he is in a long list of other Marvel stories, and you have the potential for one of the best goofball characters yet. But there is one thing, if Deadpool is added back in, he has to make a reference to that awful 80s movie. And finally, I do not want him in a mech suit like in Contest of Champions. That would be like throwing Pac-Man in a mech suit. Oh wait. This one for me is basically based off of my childhood tastes. See, growing up I wasn't super into Marvel. I liked what I knew about it, but for the most part, the only thing I gave a little bit of attention to was Spider-Man. Mainly anything relating to Venom, or my number 3 choice, Carnage. See, I'd say the things I knew most about Spider-Man came from 2 video games we owned. Spider-Man Separation Anxiety for the Sega Genesis, and Spider-Man for the PlayStation, both of which feature Carnage as a main villain. How can you not love this guy? He's Venom, but red, my favorite color. This is 7-year-old Darren talking. My bad. But seriously, Carnage would make a great fit. He would play faster than Venom, and maybe be a bit weaker, but possibly have longer range. His limbs could turn into blades of all sorts, and when he swings through the air, he can laugh like a clown. But honestly, make Carnage a faster, longer range Venom, and you're good. Also, does anybody else think Venom's voice in this game would be better suited for Carnage?
We are Venom!
I miss the MVC1 Venom voice.
We are Venom.
There was once a time where Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was announced, and everyone lost their minds. There was once a time where there were character rumors going around. And there was once a time where Doc Ock was rumored to be in the game but had to be removed due to technical limitations. Well, if that's all true, I hope they found a way to fix it, because Doc Ock would be an awesome new character. Just imagine all of the range and all of the crazy maneuvers he could do with those metallic limbs. I've already pictured this in my brain, and I can't accept it not being a reality. I honestly don't have to go too in-depth into the moveset, because we all know being able to control Doc Ock would be incredibly fun. Also, I really think we need more primary Spider-Man villains in the Versus series, because all we've ever really gotten was Venom. While I love Venom, and he's one of my favorite Spider-Man villains, I think we have room for at least one more. And if any Spider-Man villain was gonna make it, it would have to be Doc Ock. It's a shame he hasn't been in this series already. While every character so far has their reasons to be on the list, there's one thing that's holding them back from getting the number 1 spot. And that's because they're not a motherfucking dinosaur! You think you can keep up with this, Doc Ock? Sit down in your number 2 spot! Now, I know what you're thinking. How would Devil Dinosaur work within this game? Would we be bringing back giant characters like in Tatsunoko vs. Capcom? Probably not, as they were pretty broken within that game. What I think we should do is have a Jin thing going on, and have either Moon Boy or Moon Girl be the character you play as, and Devil Dinosaur assist them. So I actually don't know much about Devil Dinosaur. I first heard about him thanks to ScrewAttack's top 10 raddest dinosaurs list, which I'll leave in the description below. So after doing some research, I learned about Moon Boy and Moon Girl. While Moon Boy is the original partner, I think for the purpose of this game, Moon Girl would be the proper choice for the character slot. This is due to the fact that she has all sorts of homemade gadgets, like spring boxing gloves or sound guns, while Moon Boy is basically your average caveman kid, from what I understand. For Moon Girl's hyper combos, Devil Dinosaur could come in and do something like a tail whip, or a head bash, or maybe even chew on his enemies. So according to the first couple of stories of Devil Dinosaur's new series, which to be honest is all I really know, DD and Moon Girl keep swapping minds. So some of Moon Girl's attacks could be ferociously trying to bite characters, or scratch at them while she's controlled by DD. Then for her ultimate hyper combo, they could have her mind go into Devil Dinosaur, which would allow you to take full control of the T-Rex for a few seconds to take down enemies in every which way possible. This would work like Master Hand in Smash Bros, where it takes a moment for each move to occur. This isn't too far-fetched either, as a similar thing has been done in the past with the Patsu-Man. Either way, I don't think it's the likeliest of characters to make it in, but if they could figure out a way to implement Devil Dinosaur into this game, I would be happy. So those were my top 10 Marvel characters that I want added into MVCI. Thank you so much as always for watching this video. I know this one took a while to get out. We've had a couple Squirrel casts in between, and then there was basically a month of absence. I need to work on my time management, and of course, life stuff getting in the way. I'm adjusting to my new job. If this is your first time on the channel, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And if it's not your first time on the channel, please feel free to do that stuff as well. Also, because of you guys, we just reached 100 subscribers, which is huge for me and the Hyper Nation. Guys, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it when people give me feedback on my videos and to know that people are watching them. I don't know what to say, just thank you so much. And I hope you keep watching my stuff and share it with your friends. Also guys, I know I said in this video that the next one would be top 10 Capcom characters, which is true, but I mean for more of the VGSquirrel Acorny review videos. I think I'm gonna do my 100 subscriber special and another game feeder before then, just so you guys get more content, because these videos, these Acorny review top 10 videos, take way more time than any other video. They're probably my favorite videos, and they're the ones that do the best, but a lot more work gets into them, and it honestly takes me like a month to get these out. So I want to give you guys some other videos before the next one comes out. Anyway guys, thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your day.